Hey, what's going on, meat freaks? Thanks for stopping by the Mother Porkers Barbecue channel. Today, instead of doing a cook, we're going to actually work on a project. A couple weeks ago, I picked up an offset Brinkmann smoker, a barrel type smoker, so not a flange door, for $10 off Craigslist, and it was actually in really good condition. It's going to serve one purpose, really. It's going to allow me to do full packer Texas style brisket, which is one of the things my wife likes to eat the most. I have vertical offset, but you always have to cut the flat from the point. I want to do a whole brisket. But, you know, buying a, Yoder Wichita or finding an older Oklahoma Joe is not really, in the budget right now, especially for one cooker that's going to do one thing. That said, I am going to modify the Brinkmann to make it work and function a lot better than what it originally did. And to do that, I bought some stuff, so let's go ahead and take a look at it, and I'll show you guys kind of what the issues are with the cooker. And then we're going to travel out to my buddy Mike's house. Mike's one of the Mother Porkers, and hopefully he'll have some time to be on camera, but we're going to borrow his shop today, and we're going to do some welding on it, and we're going to drill some holes for some new thermometers and do some sanding and some stuff like that. So let's check out the cooker first, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, here she is. So it's a Brinkmann offset cooker. It actually is relatively rust-free with the exception of the firebox, which is good. Structurally intact, so that's great. Some issues with it. The thermometer's in the middle of the chamber. It's broken, and it wouldn't be very accurate anyway, especially when you're cooking packer brisket. Your fat end's going to be kind of here-ish, and with your the flat on the other side, and so you really need a thermometer here. And if you wanted to cook something hotter or cook multiple things, you'd want a thermometer right over here. So I've gone ahead and I've picked up some River Country thermometers. These were $16 a piece shipped. They've got a good reputation. They were well rated on Amazon. I wanted to use Teltrues on it, which I'm going to upgrade almost all of my thermometers to Teltrues. I really like them. But like I said, this cooker is serving one purpose. It's never going to go to competitions. It's only going to get used probably 8-9 times a year at most. So why put, a couple $50, $60 Teltru thermometers on there for that purpose? You know what I'm saying? This will be close enough, and I'll still use a great level temperature probe. And speaking of that, I picked this up. This is a grommet, a replacement grommet for a Weber Smoky Mountain. So this is part number 85037. This is a high temperature silicone, dropped it, it's okay, gray grommet that you would replace on your Weber Smoky Mountain, and it allows you to put thermal probes or temperature reading sensors, whatever you want to put through it, without actually having to squish them in the door of the chamber. I think that's kind of nice. Preserves the cords, and you don't get shorts in them, and you don't have to replace temperature probes as often, because I've had to replace them quite a bit. So I think that's going to be a really cool addition, and that was only $8. So, so far I'm at $40-something, and I bought some steel. So let's take a look at the steel I bought. There it is. Yeah. So I got some steel tube to make a new stack. The stack that's in the current chamber doesn't go down to grate level, and that is a problem. It's also really thin, and I'd like for it to be just extended just up a little bit, so we'll cut that at a level where it actually sits flat on the grate. Right next to that is some 1/8" plate. I've got a 1x4 piece, which is longer than the chamber, but I wanted a little extra to do some things with. And I also have a 1x1 piece. Okay, so this is good thick plate. This is going to serve two purposes. The first of which is we can actually make a baffle to allow the smoke to go down through the entire chamber. And the other part is it will actually add just some weight to it and help it to hold in heat better. A lot of people use like bricks that have been wrapped in some aluminum foil, some fire bricks, just something that will hold heat in so it doesn't drop in temperature so much every time a small breeze blows by. The other part I have is some angle iron, and this angle iron is 1" by 1" by I think it's 1/4 inch, and that's going to be welded onto the side of the cooker. That'll give something flat for the lid to actually sit on. We may still end up adding some fireplace gasket or some lava lock gasket, something like that that's cheap. So all in all, I think when I'm all said and done and I put a little paint job on it, I have about $150 total in the cooker. And to be honest with you, I don't think you could buy one that'll be as quality as this for $150 unless you get really, really lucky on Craigslist with like an old Oklahoma Joe. So yeah, it won't be as pretty, it won't be as nice, but like I said, for $150, I don't think you can do a whole lot better really. I think you would have to, start in the $200 range for like a new charbroil, or $350 or $400 for a new Oklahoma Joe. before you would start getting into the quality of what this will end up having by the time it's all said and done. That said, I'm not counting in my own hours, what I'm worth to spend my Saturday welding, but I'm not going to. I don't need to, and it gives me practice welding, and that's value in and of itself. So let's get this stuff loaded up and over to Mike's, and we'll start welding and cutting on this thing and see what we can do. So I almost forgot to give you guys an overview so you could see some of what I'm talking about here. So there's the big gap on the side. It's even worse around back. The temperature outside is about 80 degrees. Let's see if it'll focus for me. And that's reading under 50, so that's definitely broken. The inside is good. No real rust. It's been seasoned well. You can see where the exhaust pipe would only allow the smoke to travel up and then directly out, especially without tuning plates or without extending that down to grate level. Over here is where you'll actually start to see some rust. This is the firebox. This is what the paint's going to flake off of immediately. So we're going to sand this down really, really well, and I'm just going to go ahead and use oil and treat it like a cast iron skillet. Inside it's got a little, very small grate that runs down there for holding charcoal. I may have to redesign that, or maybe I'll build a basket. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of anti-basket on this because I get why guys do it if that's your only smoker and you want to smoke all night long. But for me, this is about stick burning all day, just watching the temperature and monitoring the food. So I may not even bother with that. Some of the welds, or not even the welds, really the bolts are quite loose. So I got to take that off, and I'm probably just going to tack weld this on. I may add a heat plate onto here, or I may not. I'm not sure yet. Still got some designs to go over. This guy is completely seized up, so I got to fix that. I'm probably just going to seal this whole thing in and open the box every time. I don't mind clearing the ashes out by hand. It's not a big deal. And this latch is not particularly good. The charcoal that's in there is left over from the guy I bought it from. But like I said, all in all, it's pretty sturdy. There's no rust on the shelf. It sits real well. It doesn't look like it's just going to fall over in a strong breeze. So I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll see what I can do with it. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm out at Mike's shop. I've been working on working with the welder for about a half hour, 45 minutes now. Did a change of plans. Instead of tuning plates, I've decided to go ahead and make it a reverse flow smoker. I'll show you guys what I got going on right now. Sorry for the noise. Air compressor's running in the background. I need it so. Alright, so started making the baffle. It'll make this reverse flow. So out of the smoker box, we'll have to flow all the way down and around, come up through the gap, and along the side gaps here, and then we're moving the stack from the right side to the left side, so everything has to go all the way around to actually exit the smoker. I got the holes drilled for the 2 thermometers. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that hole yet. Probably just cover it with some plate when I do the top baffle there. So we got a lot more to do, but it's getting there. So just a quick update now. Oh, and I do have the edges tacked on so far, so that the lid will sit flush, like so, and not as much smoke will escape. I'm still going to put some lava lock gasket around there, or some fireplace gasket, whatever I can get pretty inexpensively. Yeah, it's coming along. I'll give you guys another update when I've got more things accomplished. Stay tuned. Alright guys, the project's done. It took about 2 weeks for me to find time and get the parts in to finish up the smoker, but I have it all ready for you guys. I want to apologize in advance. From this point forward in the video, I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so I kind of got a gravelly voice, might even crack. I'm not going through puberty again, I promise. So I'm going to get a beer and wet my whistle here, and then we'll go over and we'll show you guys what I did to it. Big thanks to my buddy Mike for letting me use his shop. And I'm not a professional welder, I'm still learning. So I'm sure a lot of you guys that might see this are going, man, I could weld better than that. I don't doubt it. I bet you probably could. But I did the best I could, and this was a nice little project to practice on, and I think it's going to turn out really well. Right after I get done with showing you guys what I did to the smoker, I'm going to go ahead and light up some coals, and we're going to go ahead and re-season everything on the inside, check for more leaks, or see if there's any more leaks that can be fixed, or hopefully there isn't any. And from there, next week, hopefully I'll be doing a brisket video and showing you guys how it cooks. So let's go over and take a look at what we did. Alright. Well, first things first, obviously I repainted it. The firebox is just a flat black, and that's because it shouldn't bubble up as bad as having a gloss or satin. And once I do see some rust, or if I start seeing some rust, I'm just going to go ahead and season it with oil. I'm not going to worry about putting like a really nice coat of paint on the firebox. It's just going to get too hot and burn off anyway. Moving on down, we've got some 3-inch River Country thermometers on the left and right side, which is what I'm really worried about. These are you can actually calibrate these, which is nice, and they're pretty darn close to each other. The one in the middle, it looks like a River Country. It is not. It's just a cheap guy. I had to weld up the hole where the old thermometer was, and I just wanted to cover it up. So I bought this little guy. I think this was $6 or $7 on Amazon versus these guys, which I think are around 20. And that way it kind of still had the same look, and you can't really tell. I'm not really worried about using this thermometer. Speaking of thermometers, I did go ahead and add that gasket into the side there. This is normally for Weber Smoky Mountain. This is a pass-through that will allow your temperature probes to go through without having to squish them in the lid. I like that. And then we rerouted the stack, like I was saying. So that was where the old stack was. And this is now rerouted for reverse flow. This is much thicker steel, much more high-quality steel. New handles on there. That's just a piece of oak that I stained. I finished up that heat deflector plate that'll turn this into reverse flow, so from the firebox it's kind of closed off. Smoke should have to go down, up and around, and then out through the exhaust. That should work out pretty well. And then in the firebox, put in a stronger piece of steel to hold the charcoal. And on the back side, on the front here on the lip, I added that lip and then some gasket material so the lid sits flush. And then there's a rope gasket which goes all the length across to hopefully seal up the back side. And then a new catch can for drippings. But I think it's looking really good. Let's see if I can get a fire going, and we'll see how well she holds the smoke. Alright everybody, I've got her fired up. She's got a big fire in the firebox right now. See some smoke coming right out of the exhaust, but not a lot of smoke coming out of anywhere else. A few plumes around a couple places around the firebox, and annoyingly, where the Brinkmann nameplate is on the left side below the thermometer, there's a little smoke that leaks through there, which is really annoying, and I'm out of high temp silicone, so I'm going to have to adjust that and fix it once I get some silicone in the house, but I don't have any at the moment. The reverse flow is working just really, really well. The side, as you guys can see, you're about 100, a little over 170. And that's near the firebox, and on the other side we are, well, what do you know, right about 170, 172, right around the same temperature. That's really great. So the plate inside is definitely doing its job. We've got a nice flow of smoke. The new air inlet that I designed, the teardrop style inlet, that baffle's working great, plenty of airflow. You can see a couple small holes that I gotta fix. If you look really closely, there's a little fire right there. Just more silicone type things. I welded these, and I should have welded it all the way around, but I didn't. So that's my fault. Rope gaskets are on the back, and that's working great too. Flip this around here. Talk to you guys for a second. So I think this was a really worthwhile project. It did take, some time and some tools that most people don't have, But now I've taken a $10 smoker off of Craigslist, I've reduced, reused, and recycled, learned some new skills, and now I have a great functioning offset smoker in my backyard. It looks really good. It looks like it's working really well. I can't wait to actually cook on it. So I would say if you can, and you've got folks who have tools, or you can borrow tools, or you want to buy tools and justify buying the tools, and you can find, a smoker like this on Craigslist. Will it ever be, like I was saying, a Yoder or something like that? No, it's not going to be. But that said, with the amount of money I have into it, I think the entire project, I have about $150 in the whole thing, including several coats of paint and all that kind of stuff, not counting my time, because I was learning as I was going. So I can't really count how much I would pay myself an hour. But I really couldn't think of a better way to have spent a couple afternoons, working on something like this, and now look what I've got to show for it. So until next time, guys, if you want to know about our meat, just ask your mom. Cheers.